everyone here at DroneTalks. I'm Eszter Kovács, co-founder and CEO of DroneTalks, and today I am here with Nicki Harricharan, who is Operations Program Manager at CANSO. And this is a very exciting interview actually because the CANSO Airspace World Conference 2026 is just around the corner. But we will touch base on those programs and topics as well. But first, maybe Nicki, if you could please introduce yourself and tell the audience who is CANSO if someone doesn't know the association.
Hi, everyone. Nicki Harricharan, as mentioned, currently the CANSO Operations Program Manager. And essentially, CANSO is the voice of ATM, Air Traffic Management, for the ANSPs, Air Navigation Service Providers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I think my first question is that I went through the Airspace World 2026 program, which is going to take place in Lisbon. What is the central message? What you want to tell to the audience and to the attendees or key takeaways this year? Why is this different this year than the previous years?
Great question, Eszter. And again, thanks so much for having me on this interview. So the central message I'd like for the global aviation community to take away is airspace is transforming, and it's transforming rapidly. We see increased traffic like new entrants, drones, advanced air mobility, space operations. They're all entering the same environment. An important takeaway is that we can no longer afford to operate in silos. The future of air traffic management really depends on true integration across systems, stakeholders, and regions. It's about shifting from local optimization to a more holistic approach where we optimize the performance of the entire network as a single interconnected system. We're moving to a more dynamic and adaptive airspace where access becomes increasingly flexible and demand-driven. As complexity grows beyond human cognitive capacity, advanced automation will become essential to support real-time decision-making. I'll always say this, safety will always remain the foundation, but trust, collaboration, and information sharing are what will enable us to scale and adapt appropriately.
So if you would need to pick a few hot topics, or must attend the sessions from the program, what's your favorite, Nicki, this year, may I ask?
Oh, well, I'm a little bit biased. Of course, it's going to be space operations because that's part of my background. So integrating space operations into on a global level. I do think, though, from hot topics and main themes that we can expect to see across the stage this year that are very important is the integration of new entrants, which I just mentioned space operations, but not only space operations, AAM integration, and drones. Another important one is digital transformation, SWIM, FFICE, and trajectory-based operations, better known as TBO, resilience around CNS systems, and data integrity across the entire operational network. Another one is cross-border collaboration and global interoperability. I do think that what ties all of these things together is the need to move from reactive operations to more really predictive, data-driven decision-making.
Yeah, you mentioned multiple times this ecosystem collaboration, and you mentioned multiple times this is key to unlock the potential. Do you see any good examples, or do you see any panels coming up where we could, involve all the stakeholders from multiple layers to showcase those examples you want to see as the program manager?
Sure. I mean, because we're talking about airspace world, you'll see that on the panels where we've tried to craft and create our panels to be not only ANSPs, but regulators, industry partners, right? Because that's where the real conversation actually happens on the stage. But when you build those relationships, the next step is to continue that momentum to move forward in that building the relationship, building the trust, which then gives or gets us to the true collaboration effort to move forward with these new entrants to integrate well into air traffic management, into our future skies.
And tomorrow we will have this webinar together where we also have different stakeholders such as Telespazio and Naira, CANSO, Murzilias, and SkyEye. So do you think this higher altitude platform system and airspace integration is a reality of today? Do you think, this panel showcasing that? Because I'm very excited about this webinar, not just because we co-organized, but we had so many subscribers. So that means there is a high demand of those examples you just mentioned.
Absolutely. It's an actual real conversation. And to highlight that, I do know that there is a HAPS session within airspace world from concept to controlled airspace, enabling the first civil HAPS operations in Europe. And it's a real conversation around a real world example of integrating a completely new type of operation into controlled airspace. I think this is where I was speaking of, we're now bridging that gap. It's no longer theoretical. It's happening now, and this is where the future of ATM is heading, right? So what brings us together is just that. The panel session, the webinar that we're hosting, or you all are hosting tomorrow, it's no single stakeholder that can solve these challenges, or as I like to call them, opportunities to learn and grow. We cannot do this in silos. We are all interconnected and we all have different perspectives, right? It's now that we need to move. Again, you're going to hear the word ecosystem, because these conversations are based on each one of us representing what we know and from our experience. And that's where the real progress happens, right? When policy, operation, and innovation are developed together rather than in isolation. We need to come together as a true team, as a true ecosystem, in order to move forward to ensure that we have safe and efficient integration of these new entrants, these new vehicles for our future skies.
I couldn't agree more. And there are some buzzwords out there nowadays, such as sustainability and digitalization. And I'm sure it's the reality of the operational discussions today. So how this event will reflect on this on stage?
Those are two good words, sustainability and digitalization, right? I think they're just no longer separate conversations. They're truly connected. From an operational perspective, digitalization, it enables better data sharing for more efficient routing, improved predictability. That directly supports sustainability by reducing fuel burn, emissions, and inefficiencies, right? You'll see discussions around optimized trajectories and tools like SWIM and ATFM that enable more environmental friendly, efficient operations. Again, it's about embedding sustainability into how we manage traffic every day. We also have a session from the CANSO operations program on demystifying TBO. So it is an educational session on what's needed for TBOs. So some of the enablers for TBO is SWIM, FFICE, ATFM. Again, but it goes back to that data sharing and trusting and the collaboration effort amongst the stakeholders.
And if you would need to pick one topic, what's going to have the biggest impact, I would say 2030, what would be the topic where you really think it's going to really change our future in 5 years?
Eszter, you ask a lot of really good questions. If I had to choose one, it would be trusting and information sharing and interoperability. Whether it's SWIM, FFICE, or TBO, the common thread is the ability to share accurate, timely data across systems and stakeholders. Without that foundation, none of the other advancements, AAM integration, space operations, or even sustainability goals can be fully realized. By 2030, the systems that succeed will be the ones that are connected, collaborative, and data-driven.
Fantastic. And as a last remark, finally, what do you think personally, what is the most excited part to see to come to life, in this event, as a personal favorite?
A personal favorite, Eszter, I think it's amazing how many people that we have coming to Airspace World, over 7,000 people. So we bring together such a diverse group, right? We have ANSPs, regulators, innovators, OEMs, industry leaders. And what's powerful is when those conversations, when we interact with each other and have these conversations about day-to-day operations and the future skies, we turn those conversations into alliances and next step. So for me, it's not just about the sessions themselves, but building those relationships, building that trust, and then the outcome from that, right? We have new relationships, new partners, a better understanding, I should say, of each other and our work line, and build the momentum that carries forward to not just this event, but the next event that we have. And that's where the real impact happens. It's in building relationship, building trust, partnership in order to work together to move forward.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Cannot wait, Nicki, to meet at the Airspace World.
Same here. Thank you so much, Eszter.